Hey guys, I'm Lauren, and I wanted to talk to y'all about one of the ways that God has molded me. So I have an autoimmune disease called type 1 diabetes. So basically, one of my organs, more specifically my pancreas, shut down. And I had to do its job for it by pricking my finger, checking my blood sugar, and giving myself insulin. I was diagnosed with this disease when I was 3 years old. And I remember as a kid asking myself, what did I do to deserve this? Did I make God mad at me? Because as a little kid, I couldn't think of another reason why I had to get stuck with needles and my sisters didn't. For a while, I was mad at God for giving me this disease. I didn't like it and I didn't want it anymore. As I've gotten older, I still don't like having diabetes. But I've realized that it isn't a punishment. It's a way God has used to mold me into the person I am today. I can honestly say that diabetes has taught me so much responsibility. It's taught me not to take things for granted, and it taught me from a young age to respect what others are going through. As much as I don't like having diabetes, it's taught me so much, and I now realize that God used this disease to mold me into the person that He wanted me to be. So next time you're going through a hard time, just remember that it's God molding you into the person you're meant to be. And sometimes God works in mysterious ways.
Hi everyone, it's Lindsey. I am so excited to be sharing a testimony with you today, and I really hope that by watching this video you learn something, maybe a little bit more about our scripture, maybe a little bit more about me too. So this past summer, when I had just turned 17 years old, I started to suddenly have a lot of feelings of anxiety and a lot of obsessive feelings. And that was pretty scary for me because I had never really been a super anxious person before. And it was like a switch had been flipped in my life suddenly, and I was anxious about pretty much everything. So I tried to pretend for a while like it wasn't happening. I thought maybe it would just go away, but eventually it did get to the point where it was getting hard to focus at school, it was getting hard to focus at my job, and it started to interfere with my relationships with other people in my life. So I decided that I would find a therapist to help, which actually ended up taking a while. It was difficult to find a therapist who really understood what I was going through and who would really listen, but I finally found a great one, and she diagnosed me with obsessive compulsive disorder, which was a little scary to hear at first, but it was also really nice to have a name for the feelings that I was feeling and to know that this has happened to other people. So once I realized that I had OCD, I was able to join some online groups with people who were going through the exact same thing as me. I was able to buy some self-help books and other books that I could read to educate myself, and I was able to talk a lot with my therapist. So OCD recovery is really hard work, just like it is for any mental health issue. I'm still on the journey of recovery now, but I am so much better than I was doing a year ago. I'm so grateful for the people in my life who helped me get there. So my story is a really great example in my life of God making something wonderful out of a really, really tough situation. My OCD was really hard to deal with at first, but God had a plan for me, and I knew that the whole time, and that's what really made it okay. And that's what made sure that I was able to deal with it and able to move on, because I knew that God was there with me and I knew that God had a plan. On my recovery journey, I've learned how to better accept myself and to better accept others too. I've learned the importance of perseverance and working hard, because it's definitely really difficult to recover from a mental health issue, but you can do it if you just work hard. And I've learned that even when things are really, really hard, God is still there. And that's what I want you all to remember too. For anyone struggling with their mental health, or even if you're not struggling with your mental health, just remember that God is always there for you, and God always has a plan for you. Just like clay in the potter's hand, God can always make something beautiful out of a tough situation. Thank you all for listening.
Hi, you're watching a Annett video, and this is the time I burnt my foot. So, I work in a restaurant, and we had a little bit of a mess on the floor. In order to clean it up, we use hot water and a squeegee. So as they were pouring the hot water on the ground, I ended up stepping back into it, burning my foot. Not so great. For everyone who's wondering if I am okay, I am. I'm recovering now. It's going much better. Still fresh on the wound though. But just kind of this whole experience so far has made me think about kind of God and all that. And as this online mass Annett, we're filming videos and stuff for it. It got me thinking about how this event kind of relates to it. God is always there for us, and he's always, one of the main parts of the verse focuses on how God is always there shaping us. When a potter is making their dish, when they're shaping all the little intricacies of it, when they're making little details, when they're deciding whether they want to make a cup, a bowl, a vase, a lot of other things, when they're choosing if they want to have a handle, if they want to have two handles, if they want to have no handles. All of those little details, they focus on and shape intricately. And when you're forming a piece, piece of pottery, it doesn't just get done after you've taken the clay and molded a little bit. The entire time it's being shaped, the potter is working with it, and just not just working with it, but they're really focused, and any small little details that they don't like, they reshape and make better. Just like that, God takes us and he shapes us continually, making sure every little detail of our lives is shaped by him. And so the challenges we face, the ups and downs, the highs and lows, the healing parts and the injuries and the good and the bad, God puts his hand into all of those, and they aren't meant to be a punishment or a reward for doing good or doing bad, but they're meant to kind of just help you grow and make you better. Like if a potter, if they shape something that they don't like, they're not gonna break down the pot and throw it away. They're gonna reshape it and help it to improve, just as God does to us. He continues to reshape us. And so as a whole, when something happens, it's not meant to be the end of the world. It's not meant to end up being the end all be all, but it's meant to continue to help us grow and shape us. And so God is always there. He's always shaping us. And if there's like one major thing you should take from this, it's that God's there for you, and he always will be, because he's always shaping you and making you better, making you more of a vessel for his word and his kind of ideas.
Hi, I'm Bella and I'm 17, and this is my story on how moving molded me into the person I am today. So I found out that I was moving in 2017. I was 14 at the time I found out, 15 when I actually moved houses. And I was very, very scared. Before I moved, I was more of a, keep to my friend group kind of person. I didn't really talk to people outside of it. I was a little too scared, and that's where I found my comfort. And that worked for me in the small town that I lived in the middle of Illinois. And once I moved to North Carolina, I didn't have that comfort anymore, and I had to step out of my box that I had and make new friends, both in youth group and at school and through other activities. I was very scared, and at first I really wasn't super involved in anything. It took me a while to actually make friends at school. On the first day, I sat alone at lunch because I was too scared to ask anybody if I could sit with them. And after that, I was able to meet somebody because I realized that I couldn't be alone anymore. I hated the feeling, and I really wanted the comfort of having a friend with me. And so I started hanging out with her and sitting with her at lunch, and I was able to, after this experience, gain some confidence and change a little bit so that I could reach out to more people and make more friends and join new activities. I hadn't done track or cross country since 8th grade, and I hadn't considered it at all my freshman year, but after moving my sophomore year, I decided that I wanted to get back at running. So that was something that really came out of me moving. I grew a passion for talking to people, meeting new people, getting out of my comfort zone, joining sports that I didn't think I would be good at, and I really think that this experience really changed me from being more scared and timid into a outgoing and extroverted person. And I am just very happy and thankful that I got this opportunity, and I'm sure many of you have experienced moving schools or even just entering a new environment, and that can be super scary. It was so terrifying for me, but I learned so much about both myself and the world around me and the environment, and I was able to understand people who were new to a situation a little bit more, and I think that it was all around just a great experience to have, and I'm so thankful that I got this opportunity to move. And when I'm sad, I just think that I got the best opportunity to learn and become more of myself than I ever had before.